Michelle Jones. Michelle Jones is a leadership coach who's traveled to more than 50 countries on 6 continents and is currently working for the federal government. She's earned her Bachelor of Science in Material Science and Engineering and an MBA from Northwestern University. And she has an MS in Curriculum and Instruction from Chicago State University. Michelle was active participant in NSBE while she was in college and working as a research scientist, and she remained active with the DC chapter. Even though she's in a different career, she supports PCI, she's done the USA Science and Engineering Festival, and member events such as the Walkathon and our fundraisers. So, Michelle today is going to talk about global and travel innovation.
Thank you so much. And I have to say that we just met. I love this woman. I love how she just perfectly teed me up for my talk. And those of you in the back, we've got lots of seats in the front. Come on up. We don't want to be shy. Or you can stand, whatever is comfortable for you. So I am just a travel nut. That's what I do best. It's what I love. And so you've got to figure out how to make money off of it, right? How to do this. So the reason why they listed my job title as World Travelers, I hate that DC talks about work all the time and not things that are interesting, to me at least. So I always tell people I work for the circus, because I do work for the government and sometimes it's a circus, right? But I know. So some people get it, some people hate it. But I am transitioning and going to work in foreign service for an embassy as an HR specialist, as a coach. So it's a way to, I found a way to monetize my love for travel. And so that's kind of the goal. If you're going to start your own business, you want to find a way to monetize what you actually love doing. And you want to also consider options of how to ease into it. So if you want to look at travel as a way to spur innovation in your current job or in your business, you want to approach travel in 2 ways. As you travel, there are things that you will see technology-wise and other systems in a country that this is awesome. We need this in the US. Around the world, their mobile technology, as she was mentioning, is so much further advanced. The fact that we're still just now getting Apple Pay and some of these other things that have been happening in other countries for a long time. So what's an easy way for you to go and figure out your app that you're going to make as your side hustle to kind of, get things going? Travel somewhere, see what people have as their innovations, and just steal it and bring it back, right? Innovate it. You don't have to be super creative. Most things are innovations on something else, right? Yep. You go back to like all your barons of industry. One person made a car, great, well you can make a better car. You don't have to do anything different, make a Tesla, right? I mean, he's rich, think about it. So it's the same with you and the way you can get your innovation from travel. Go overseas on your normal vacation time, look around, see what you can bring back to your work, either innovating processes in your current position, innovating products that you're going to create, services that you're going to deliver. Similarly, there are things that we have that we can bring our technology abroad. So you can go traveling abroad and say, oh, there's a need. Necessity is the mother of innovation, right? There's a need here, I can fit that need with a service that I have. So how do I make strategic partnerships? Who do I align myself with in this trip, in this country, so I can have people with boots on the ground in this country working for me, getting my product or service to a broader network. So those are things that you want to consider with your average everyday vacation. So how do you kind of ease into this? Are there structured programs to help you do that? Well, in the Post on June 3rd, which was just this week, there was this great article that mentioned 2 programs. One is called Remote Year. And they were talking about a person who works for Eaton Corporation, right? Some people may have read it. This person's going around the world for a year. They spend 1 month in each country. They're a part of a collaborative group. There are lots of companies sponsoring things like Microsoft and all of these other larger companies. And they keep their job. They keep their current salary. They work remotely. How many of you work remotely for like a day? Right? If you work, no, seriously, this is how you kind of tee your boss up for this. If you work remotely for a day and it's working really well and you're really effective at that, expand it to see if you can work remotely for a week. Right? Ease your boss into that. Say, oh, you know, I really want to work remotely for 2 weeks. and see, because I mean, I've done it. I was working remotely from Hawaii, but you know, I handled my business during the time change, so there was no issue. You know what I mean? If the phone rang at 6 in the morning, if the phone rang at 4 in the morning, I was picking it up because I knew I was working there. This was setting up something for something else. So as long as you take care of it, you would be surprised at what your management team currently is open to when you show that you're a good employee, you're productive, and they're going to get the benefit of the innovation that you bring back. Because whenever I go on one of these working trips, I always bring back innovation that's immediately useful to my team. So there's no issue with me doing this as I continue to do it. So think about how you can leverage your current telework situation. If your workplace offers sabbaticals, sign up for that. How does that happen? If you have kind of an individual development plan going in your workplace, see if you can participate in the remote year. Now, for some of you, going away for a year seems like a bit extreme. There's another program that they mentioned called Hacker Paradise. You spend 1 month in a country and they have remote work sites where it's the same concept. That you're with this team who are all using this remote work site for that month. And so that's probably a lot easier for some of you to get, right? You could use your 2 weeks of vacation plus 2 weeks of telework. You've got a month abroad so you can be somewhere and kind of really innovate travel. And you want to choose wisely based upon industry where you're going to go. Some of you are in research. Well, where are the top people that are doing the same research you're doing abroad? What are they into, right? China just spent $89 billion last year on renewable energy. If that's your field, guess what? Spend a month in China using the Hacker Network, Hacker Paradise Network. I don't want to say Hacker Network, that might bring up some things, but figure out which country has the research that you want to study, you know, the people that you want to use best practices with, collaborate with, and figure out a way to get there. So if you can't convince your boss to let you telework for 2 weeks, you can still go on your 2-week vacation. You just have to tee up a lot of things in advance, again, using technology. Use your LinkedIn contacts. Use your professional organizations and associations. So that way you can, again, make every single trip meaningful. And what you'll find out in a lot of places, A, is they're a lot more cosmopolitan than you think. B, their entrepreneurship level is a lot higher because we're on a credit society, as you well know, and some of you are in trouble because of that. But other places are on a barter society, which is very helpful in terms of business. So if you have a consulting skill, but you need an attorney, guess what? You don't have to pay for that attorney. You consult for them, they do your legal work. You need an accountant, you consult for them, they do your accounting. That's how you as a business, A, build relationships for referral, you get your name out there, and you get the services you need. That's an innovation that you can learn from traveling. When you travel to a lot of places, the first thing people ask you is, what is your business? And when you say that you don't have one because you work for someone else, they kind of look at you like, how does that work? Like, what are you doing with your life? So, and it's fine because in their world, it's a barter society. You have to have a skill or something to bring forward so that you can get services in return. I mean, and some people do just sell for cash too. Cash works everywhere. But so those are just some things that I really want you to think about as you think about your career. And there's never a time where it's too late, too early in your career. You would be surprised what people ask for and get when they're not afraid, as long as you can make a structured business case. And you don't have to really work hard at that because there are business cases all over the internet for you to just find and follow. So if you really are excited about innovation, if you really want to create differently in your workplace, if you want to contribute to conversations differently, I just really want you to expand your network, expand where you're looking for this inspiration by going overseas. And you don't even have to travel overseas, right? You can travel within the US and still just kind of immerse yourself into a different set of thoughts, right? So the way that people do engineering in a different field than your field is a travel for some people, right? we talk about diversity initiatives. Travel is one way to get diversity in, but that diversity of thought can come from a lot of places. Talk to someone who's a teacher. Explain what you're doing to them and how would they have their children innovated. Some of the best ideas you're going to get are going to be from children. Why? Because they are current on technology. They know what's going on, right? They have ideas of how things should be. They understand wasting time because they don't have the same patience we do. They're used to instant society. And they're like, this is ridiculous. Why does this take this long? Someone should be able to do this. And that's how things happen.
Yeah.
It really is. Think about one of my favorite tools that I use all the time. If you're looking at apps, I use WhatsApp. If you don't know what it is, it's how you text over the internet so that you don't get charged all those ridiculous fees when you're traveling or whatever. But what is it? It's basically just Skype for texters, right? Skype is when you call people over the internet so you don't get charged for fees, right? So what happened? How did that innovation occur? Skype was around, they were making lots of money, and a young person was like, yeah, but who talks anymore? We all text. All of a sudden, someone makes WhatsApp, they're a billionaire. Same concept, just apply it to the younger generation. So when you are looking at innovation, that's just one of many examples of how you don't want to exclude your younger generation. Your ideas to innovate can come from anywhere. So just be open to them and be ready to act on them when the time comes. So that's all I have to say, and I'm another introvert, so I'm going to sit down.